And the big three are pioneers within the anime space, and you can't try to replace, bash, or negate it because they are the big three for a reason. And then if we even talk about Dragon Ball and all the different spaces, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball walked and crawled and strut so that these big three can be where they are today.
I'm talking. As long as I'm paying the loan back, it's not a problem.
You're triggering me. You're trying to get me out of pocket.
No.
I don't even know why I go on anime Twitter sometimes, but I don't need to hear anything else. Times has changed, is officially the new big three, and he replaced Bleach with Demon Slayer. No. I'll even see stuff like this where they put like the big three, One Piece, Dragon Ball, like no, this is wrong. The big three will always be One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto.
Christ's love isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Micaiah. I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black.
Yo, Sasha here. Excuse me? Supermodels do not fly business class. Now, I'm not gonna demand a private jet, but I think Jag could at least spring for first class.
And today I am bringing you all another video diving into a crucial conversation for me personally when it comes to anime, because I think that it's so beautiful how anime has truly been on the rise and is flourishing now, and so many people are joining the community. And I was there when you were picked on for liking anime. I was there when it wasn't the thing to like anime. It was very much like people didn't want to say they like anime because they knew they were going to have commentary and all this different kind of stuff and receive backlash. However, I didn't care. I was watching anime since I was like 6. So I'm speaking on an individual who most definitely has been around in the anime sphere for a long time. And one important conversation is these newer fans, it seems like, are always trying to rewrite or change the big three. And you just can't do that. And it shows how much they really don't know their history and they really don't know stuff when it comes to the anime space. And people could be like, oh, well, you don't have to watch the big three, or you don't have to this, da da da. And I'm not saying you have to watch it, but I think when you are entering a space, it's important to know the history and the origins and different things around it. And the big three are pioneers within the anime space, and you can't try to replace, bash, or negate it because they are the big three for a reason. And then if we even talk about Dragon Ball and all the different spaces, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball walked and crawled and strut so that these big three can be where they are today. That's why I'll never tolerate any Dragon Ball. Sorry, y'all, I had to switch to my phone because my camera died. But yes, I will not tolerate any Dragon Ball hate, because these are pioneers within the space. Out of the big three, my favorite is Naruto, and then Bleach goes after, and then One Piece goes after that. So for me, it's like people are always trying to rewrite history and rewrite the story, and you just can't do that. So I'm just urging a lot of the newer anime fans to like pump the brakes. You can create your own like new gen big three. I think that would be a little bit more realistic to create your new generation big three. It'll be some controversy to that because I know that there's so much new generation anime out there now, and we all will have different opinions. So I most definitely would put Demon Slayer in the new generation big three. But I don't even want to call it new generation big three because it's still not the same. But my top 3 new generation anime is Demon Slayer, Black Clover. Attack on Titan's really good too. It would either be Attack on Titan or Seven Deadly Sins. So those, but My Hero Academia is good too. See, like that's what I'm trying to say. Like there's so much newer anime out, it's kind of hard to like pivot in that direction.
Why are some anime fans so ignorant about the big three? The big three isn't something that changes daily. The big three isn't something that is subjective based upon who's talking about it. The big three isn't something that you get to choose or decide upon. The big three are Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, and they are coined the big three based on their sales volumes and the fact that that they were competing and vying each other in the early 2000s during Jump's releases of these, and they were the most popular, highest selling at the time, which solidified them to be the big three, and now we call their anime counterparts the big three. There is no changing that. This is all stuff that I've not made up. This is stuff that I see people commenting online. Well, the big three really depends on who's talking about it, or the big three changes daily. It's what you want it to be. No, it's not. That's not true at all. Like my friend Shizzlemack said perfectly, the big three are set in stone, purely based off of them being given that title for the time period that made their manga popular. The nuance is that Demon Slayer, despite being inspired by all of them, outsold Bleach massively in terms of anime and manga. There's a lot of speculation and people saying Demon Slayer deserves to be in the big three. Well, that's not possible because the big three can't be changed. Now, it is true, Demon Slayer manga has outsold the Bleach manga by about 100 million units, I would say. Not Naruto and One Piece, but it has outsold Bleach, but that doesn't mean it's a part of the big three. It doesn't quantify. Now, if we want to get into the discussion of the new modern big three or the new era big three, I'm down for that.
But before we get deeper into the conversation, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new, I appreciate you all for tuning in. And if you're a returner, I appreciate you all for your consistent support. I really do appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And for all who are new, you should know I do an array of topics. I am extremely diverse. I love to do nerdy topics such as this. I love more conscious topics, and I love nostalgic topics. And I dibble and dabble within vlogs. So if you're interested in any of those facets, then you'll most definitely love it over here. So you can check out your specific interests within the playlist section. And if you get the chance, please check out my social media platforms down within the description box, where I display my passion for fashion along with other interests that I have that are similar to this. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
I'm sorry, but Bleach is not a part of the big three. Yes, it is. The big three is the big three, and those three are One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. Dragon Ball is not a part of the big three. The big three does not mean the top three highest selling manga in Shonen Jump's history. The big three is not the three most popular series of any given time. The big three is talking about a specific era in Shonen Jump's history that is retroactively referred to as the big three era for a reason. And that's because in the absence of Dragon Ball Z, which stopped its running in Shonen Jump in 1995, 3 new shonen came in to fill that spot. The first was One Piece, then Bleach, then Naruto, and those 3 series ran alongside each other for the course of over 10 years in Shonen Jump, all 3 of them being massively popular. And a lot of people like to downplay the popularity of Bleach. That is revisionist history. Especially from an American perspective, which was a big part of the big 3 push, Bleach and Naruto were far more popular than One Piece. You go to any store back in the day that sold anime merch, and you were going to find a lot more Naruto headbands and Soul Reaper badges than you wore Straw Hats. Now, you could argue that in an alternate timeline where Togashi's health were better, we could have had a big 4 with Hunter x Hunter included, or if Hunter x Hunter was consistent, it maybe could have taken Bleach's spot. But as far as the timeline that we all exist in, Bleach is a part of the big 3. To say that Dragon Ball is a part of the big 3 is to disrespect Dragon Ball's legacy and Akira Toriyama. Dragon Ball is known as the father of the big 3 for a reason, not only because Dragon Ball came in the era before the big 3, but also because of the influence that Dragon Ball had on the big 3 era. And to say that Bleach is not a part of the big 3 is to disrespect Bleach's legacy. Because while yes, One Piece and Naruto sold more than Bleach, Bleach arguably inherited Dragon Ball's legacy as the one series that would go on to inspire the most in the next generation. The inspiration that One Piece and Naruto have had on this newer gen of anime and manga pales in comparison to the influence that Bleach had. Looking back, each of the big 3 brought something different. On the commercial side, One Piece is the clear standout, the highest selling manga of all time. On the animation side, Naruto by far had the most popular anime, and to this day it is still a lot of people's first long shonen. But Bleach has inarguably, undoubtedly had the heaviest influence on the creators in the industry themselves. Genuinely, every argument of trying to take Bleach out of the big 3, including the arguments made in that video, just come from a place of not liking Bleach and therefore not liking seeing it alongside One Piece and Naruto.
So if people would really take the time out to do their research and learn the history behind the big 3 and why they're so iconic, I think people wouldn't even be saying this. And it just shows how sometimes, right, with the newer fans, they can be really ignorant. Like, even for them to say, not to say this can't be your favorite, but for people to be like, this is the best anime ever, like JJK is just like the best anime ever. And in my head, it's like, well, did you really take out the time to watch a large portion of anime before you made the decision? I'm not saying that can't be your favorite, but I'm saying though is that I think it's just important to know the backstory when you're jumping into a space. And a lot of these newer fans can be a little Lulu, if you know what I mean. So do your research. And I love that there's new people within the space. I love to see anime growing because it's a space that I've always loved for a long time. And if you are not new here, then you know that Naruto is my favorite anime. I have not watched one that has pulled on my heartstrings. I have not watched one that has had the action. I have not watched one that has the character development, and all the side characters were so prominent for me personally. I think it's just a full body of work that I love. Now, I can't say the same about Boruto, but it is a full body of work that I love, and it'll always be special to my heart. It's not the first anime that I watched, but I have been watching it since I was a child, and I can watch a scene and it still strikes that same emotion. So it's okay to have your favorite ones. I think it's important to go back and watch ones that were pioneers. So I have been watching One Piece. It is extremely long, and it's not as consistent for me regarding my interest. There's moments that are like, yeah, because Chopper's my favorite character, and Zoro. But I like to go back and watch other ones. Even when I was like in high school, I went back and watched Sailor Moon. Even when I was in high school, I went back and I binged all like the Dragon Ball. Even though I grew up watching it, it's just I wanted to refresh my memory. And now I've been watching Michiko and Hachin. So I think it's important to go back and watch certain ones because there's ones that get left out of the conversation. And I think it's important to go back and dive into those. That's why for me, even though an anime has a hype, I'm not so quick to like jump to it and watch it. It's because I think a lot of these newer fans are quick to be like, something was so amazing. And for me personally, it didn't hit that for me, right? It didn't hit that for me. Whereas when I watch certain ones that are not as popular and I'm like, this was fire. And then I find that niche fan base. Similar to Samurai Champloo, it's not as big as a fan base as like a One Piece or Naruto or even a Cowboy Bebop, because I like Cowboy Bebop too. But it's one of my favorite anime. It's most definitely in my top 3. But it did so much and it had such an impact on me, and it only had 1 season. I don't need multiple seasons to have an anime that just strikes my chord. So when people are like, well, it's a long anime and that's why it's just better, it's just thorough. No, I think anime can be very thorough within 1 season. So all I'm saying is the moral of the story is that make sure you do your research on the other ones and in the other spaces. I'm not even saying you have to go back and watch them, because I know some people who have never watched the big 3 ones, but they've watched other ones that they absolutely love. And I think that's nice too. However, you can't discredit the big 3. Don't discredit them. They're who they are. You have to understand why they're the big 3 before you start making all your little analysis and before you start just coming on the internet just saying anything. So I thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts and perspectives down within the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you feel about the new anime space? So on and so forth. I'm open to hearing all perspectives and all thoughts. Please be respectful down within the comment section. Respect is something we all deserve as human beings. We don't have to agree, but we can respect one another. And I want you all to remember that you are loved by the God who created the universe. He made you for such a special purpose. There's no mistake about you. Let your light shine bright. Lean on him, depend on him, because he is your source. He's the source of happiness. He's the source of everything. So I thank you all so much for sharing this moment with me. And I'll check you all out in the next video. Stay blessed, everyone.